Welcome back to the Nuttycast. We are on location live at one of my favorite places with one of my favorite people and my by far coolest friend, Kyle Hoff.
What? Cool friend? Where? What?
And we're at the Broad Theater, which Kyle built from the ground up, basically. This was a theater back in the 1920s.
Yep, 1922. First hit.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was actually that old.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's extremely old.
So this building is like 100 years plus.
Yes.
Which is, I actually was.
Yeah, we celebrated our 100th anniversary 2 years ago.
I was kidding, but holy cow, we learned something new already.
Century old.
So here's what we're doing with the Nuttycast season 2 is like we're going on location, we're interviewing other small business owners. Some of them might have something to do with nut butters, some of them may not. Kyle, of course, does because him and his family go through all kinds of nutty novelties.
Butterscotch.
Which is awesome. And Kyle actually has a really unique connection to us as well, in that in addition to owning the Broad Theater, he is a real estate mogul.
Oh.
How would you describe yourself?
A guy who likes old buildings.
That's beautiful. That's much more poetic.
And likes seeing them used, not torn down.
Amen to that.
Redevelop.
Redeveloper. Yeah, okay. So, as you know, we do all our production at the Great American Popcorn Works building. And Kyle has a connection to that building in that, it was your first commercial property?
Yep, that was my very first project we did in 2012.
2012.
Yep.
And
so when I went in to get it, when I started getting in real estate, I was like, look at this giant, cool building with a business in it. And Steve, the popcorn guy, who we now call Popcorn Steve, he was actively about to move out because he's like, whoever buys this is going to tear it down. So we got him.
I never knew that.
And when I was doing the tour, he said, what are you going to do with it? I said, what am I going to do with it? I'm hoping you're going to stay and we're going to make it something you can use. And he said, okay. And that was it. So then we totally gutted it. It was such a mess. It was decades of additions. Everything was at different levels.
Yeah.
Nothing was up to code. It looked like it was in the 1950s.
It had been a dairy back in the day, and some of the floors are still kind of sloped, and there's drains all over that we fall into sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't realize all that.
Yeah.
That's like amazing. And so we moved in there in 2017. And of course before that I was making the product on the 3rd floor of my townhouse. So we touched on in season 1. And it's been like a dream being there. It's 5 minutes from my home. Everything's on the 1st floor.
Yeah. You could buy things in bulk.
You can buy things in bulk. Yeah, of course. So thanks for your role in that. Thanks for your vision and being like, I don't want to just make some kind of like flashy building or whatever that, that a local small business can't afford to inhabit, or I'm just going to tear this place down and just turn it into apartments or whatever else, real estate moguls such as yourself may have in mind. But thanks for that amazing vision. Kyle, of course, we did the Broad Theater building where we are now. He redid the Broad Street Grind building, which is another place I like to frequent a lot because I love it. Popcorn Works. You did the barbecue place in Telford, which is now R.I.P. which is now an insurance building. Yeah. And some kind of culinary.
Oh, it's a cooking school.
Cooking school. Yeah, that's awesome. Any other building projects I'm not
in Lansdale, I've done the West Point Post Office, that little building.
I did not know that.
Yeah, right across from Pizza Time.
Of course.
And I did the former Stanley's Furniture building in Hartleysville.
Oh, yes.
I did One Village Coffee's building.
Yes.
Another building was just a mess. And
One Village?
Renovated it while they were there. Same with the Popcorn Factory.
Wow.
So they stayed open during construction, so it was a feat.
That is a feat.
Yeah. So yeah, but it turned into a great building and really helped him grow.
Yeah. Yeah. So for I imagine most people will be listening to us in audio form,
Oh yes.
but some people may be so kind to be watching us on YouTube or whatever, so this wouldn't be as much of a shock to them. But if you're just listening to us, you might not realize that my friend Kyle here is in a wheelchair. And full time. Yeah. I don't think it's an act. We've been friends for a while now. Always the chair. So yeah, I know it obviously is a sensitive and personal story, but if you'd be so kind to share, like, yeah, how did you get here?
Well, so I was 24, working for Alan Myers doing bridge engineering in a training program, and it was October 17th, 2007. I was 24, 6 a.m. on a rainy day, and the equipment operator, one of my friends, stood up to open the sunroof. When he sat down, the control caught in his pocket. That swung the excavator around. The excavator hit a light tower. Light tower fell, hit me in the back of the head, and broke my 4th and 5th vertebrae, C4, C5. So I'm paralyzed from like my shoulders down. I can move like my shoulders and my biceps pretty good, but no finger function, no nothing else. So I was 24. That was 2007. So 1 year after getting married, a year after graduating Temple. So
is that right? I'm a Temple graduate myself.
Temple.
Wow. So that was 2007. So we're talking 17 years ago now.
Yep.
Almost half your life ago.
I know. 48 to be half my life. Which is pretty wild.
This question obviously doesn't do it justice. Like, what have you learned?
What haven't I learned? Patience.
Patience.
Yeah. The needing to ask for help.
Yeah.
Because I was very independent before, and I still struggle with that now.
Yeah.
Really, not that I don't like asking for help. I'm just like, I got it. You know.
But in many ways, you don't have a choice
to
ask for help or not.
I mean, I need help to live.
Yeah.
You know, to get in my chair. You know, those kinds of things. So, yeah, that has taught me patience, and also just to appreciate things more. I'd always be so like, go, go, go. Kind of slowed me down a bit.
I can relate to that. I can definitely be my own worst enemy, but I know like I go too fast sometimes, and I have to like force myself to slow down at times.
Well, it's easy when you're entrepreneurial minded.
Yeah.
To just the drive is there.
Drive is there.
Yeah.
And you want to be self-reliant, and it's interesting when you can't be.
Yeah.
What do you think that's like for you as like not just a person trying to live, but as like a business owner?
Oh, I don't know that it's really held me back in the business sense. People are always surprised.
I don't think so. You have the most successful.
I mean, well, people are always surprised. One of my favorite things is when I establish like a phone relationship with somebody. And like we talk, we email, but they've never met me.
Yeah.
So like we'll be like, all right, yeah, we'll meet you at the construction site. We're gonna pour concrete, yeah. And then I show up, and they're like, Kyle? I'm like, yeah. They're like just shocked. They're like, oh, you're in the wheelchair, you know. So it is kind of like a fun game.
Does it bother you when you have that experience? No. It's just funny too.
Kids, I love it when kids ask questions about it.
Including my own kids.
Oh yeah, they're like, you have lights on there. How do you drive that? Where are the motors? Do you have gas? Is it electric? You know, like those kinds of questions.
Can I ride on it?
But the worst is when the parents are like shielding their kid from like asking questions. Like, he might not know he's in a wheelchair. Don't ask him about it. You know, it's like, it's okay. I know I'm in a wheelchair. You know, like we can talk.
Yep, I get that. That would feel like embarrassing.
Little Kyle, you know, pre-injury Kyle would have loved the cool gadgetry on the wheelchairs now.
Well, it's
0 turn, able to go anywhere. Battery lasts for days and days. Headlights.
Off-roading ability.
Only if it's dry.
Snowmobile ability.
No ice.
Water.
No water.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was just
Like
assuming.
concrete and blacked out.
Helicopter feature.
Yes.
That'll be the day.
Auto eject.
Auto eject. You just fly. Jetpack.
Yeah. Come on, Elon. Make that.
So, entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Is so you before the injury or during the injury, you were working for somebody else.
Yeah.
On a construction site, that kind of thing. Did you always kind of feel a sense of like calling towards entrepreneurial matters, or was it? Did you feel forced into it, or like what was that journey?
No, I have little side story. Both my grandfathers have their own businesses. Both of their fathers had their own businesses. Every one of my
What about your fathers?
my uncle and my dad have all had their own businesses.
Is that right?
Now all my cousins, most of my cousins, have their own businesses. So it
Do
is.
you want to shout out any of these businesses'
Oh, yeah.
names? Or are they all-
Harleysville Party Rental, Hartzell Electric, Bascanero HVAC, All-in-One Construction.
All right, that's enough. That's
Services,
enough. That's enough.
Membrino Building out of Green Lane.
All right, relax.
Sorry.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Ace Hardware in Harleysville.
If that's your family.
My grandfather started that.
Oh, I love that place.
Yeah.
Ace is the place with the friendly hardware folks.
Yeah, it used to
That's
be,
what I always
it used
say.
to be True Value. A long
Okay.
time ago.
Okay, I didn't care
We're
about
going
that.
way back.
I don't like it
I
though.
don't think you were alive.
Probably not. So you came from a long lineage
Yes.
of entrepreneurs. So-
Yeah, and so even when I was 10 or 11, I was mowing grass. I mowed all my neighbors' yards. I through my extensive lawn mowing business, I got hooked up with Doug Shank, and he owned a property in Ladder Rock and in like downtown Harleysville. So I lived on the outside of Harleysville. So I would drive my little John Deere tractor with the cart down 113
No.
to Ladder Rock, mow it, turn around, drive all the way back into Harleysville, get gas at the Lukoil or Mobil, used to be Mobil back then, and then drive all the way back home for years. Years I did that.
It sounds like you should have been in this chair a long time ago.
I know. Yeah.
Doing that. Holy cow, man.
Yeah, it was, yeah, I've always been very entrepreneur minded. And then, so during high school, I worked and everything. And then when it came time for college, I saw the price of it and I was like, whoa.
Somebody's gonna have to pay off these debts for us. Is that what you said?
Well, and like my mom and dad weren't able to at the time. So I said, all right, I'm going to work. So I worked full time during college and did patios and retaining walls at night and weekends.
Did you really?
Yeah, so many retaining walls were built in the area at 10 o'clock at night by the headlights of my truck. Back when Heaveners used to be there. So I was able to pay for all my college with that money and buy a house right when I graduated college from that. So it was,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just always been in me. A good drive. It's always been
Yeah.
the best I could be.
Wow.
I feel that if I'm not like,
First of all, wow.
wow, thank you. But yeah, I don't know why it's in my like if I'm not doing something to better, like learn something new or something to like challenge,
Mhm.
I get very bored.
Yeah.
Very bored. I'm just
Yep.
like, okay, all right, what's next?
Yeah.
You know?
I relate to that. I wasn't quite as ambitious as you, but I feel like I always tell people the thing I learned the most in college was like work ethic, because I didn't really love college. I was going to Temple. I was commuting.
Yep. Did you take R5?
I took the R5. Oh yeah.
R5.
It was fine, and then I was working almost full time on the side.
Yeah.
Like I would go to class like 3 days a week usually, and I'd
Do you
have
ever
like
have
an 8
night classes?
I'd have an 8 a.m. class, and then like all day, and then I'd even have like a night class once or twice a week too, and then
That's
that
better than.
freed me up to work Tuesday, Thursday, or whatever, and Saturday.
Did you love nighttime on the Temple train station loading area, just waiting?
Not that much, no. Especially when it was freezing cold or raining, that
Gunshot.
wasn't as fun as you might think. But work ethic,
Yeah.
like that has stuck with me Like I was a psychology major. I didn't even know that.
Whoa.
Yeah, I've actually been reading your mind this whole time.
Oh man.
And that's not good.
Sigmund Freud.
Yeah. I picked up just a general like business minor along the way.
Okay.
But I started out as an architecture major actually.
Oh,
So, I mean,
that's cool.
that didn't work. Because, I liked it, but I didn't like love it, and it was like late nights, and I didn't like building the models, and
The architecture is a very demanding.
Yeah,
role.
it was, and I felt like it was something you had to like love, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. So I stumbled into like psychology, and you could argue that I use psychology because, I'm around human beings and they have brains and all that, but like,
well, running a business, I mean, you're dealing with people all the time.
I don't know how much of it is like, what I gained from the classroom.
That's true. That's true.
Like, yeah, I use psychology, so do you. So does everybody, but like, anyway, but the thing I gained was like the work ethic thing. Like, busting my butt for like a result.
Yeah.
Not quite the result that you were able to pull off. That's amazing. But you're an amazing guy.
Thank you.
Coolest friend I got, man.
Might need more friends. I'm the coolest friend you have. I mean, set the bar low.
Oh my gosh. So when you were working the construction job, were you thinking like career, like long term, or was it just like a filler?
So my degree was civil engineering, and I had an office job when I got out of college at an environmental engineering firm, and
I'm falling asleep just listening to that.
I hated it.
Did you?
Everybody was like, "I have a master's degree from Villanova. Where did you get your degree from?" I was like, "Temple."
I like how the Villanova guy is like pretentious British accent.
Yes, very pretentious. And I was like, all right, this is the worst. So then I had my other friends.
Relax, Villanova. You're right off the blue. You're an accent off the blue.
Yeah.
You make me sick.
Then my friends from college were working at Allen Myers, and they were building like things that last forever: bridges, dams, highways. I was like, man, that's what I went to. I want to do that. So you go through a 2-year training program where you're actually out in the field building it, so then you know how to design it better. Yeah.
So this happened during that 2-year.
Yeah, this is during my So I did my concrete crew rotation for the first 6 months. Got some night shift work in February pouring concrete, and it was horrid. But it made me really appreciate the guys that do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Every winter they're out there. You see them. You don't know what they're doing, but they're out there. And then. So yeah, I was in the middle of my next rotation.
So when the accident happened, were you just like, oh, just my luck, like,
no,
the worst possible time?
So
probably a lot more profane than that. Or...
No, I woke up 2 months. Like I was in ICU down in Philly for 2 months. I don't remember anything of the accident. I kind of remember leading up to it, but then I don't remember it hitting me or any of that stuff because my back, hit me in the back. The head. So and then I did not get the satisfying moment when the doctor comes to you and says, son, you're never gonna move your legs again. I didn't get that.
Gosh.
I did not. I was a little bummed. Everyone's always like,
how did you find out then?
It was like dribs and drabs of like in and out consciousness. And then so when they were like, oh, you're going to rehab and therapy, I thought it'd be like a bunk bed gym, and I had to like work out for a couple months and be fine. So then it was like going through that, and I was like, okay, all right, wait, I've been here 6 months. Oh, you're going home, okay. So that's And then I did outpatient therapy for 2 years, 5 days a week, and it was intense for sure. But here we are, good health. Kids.
I guess I feel like if it happened to me during like a temporary stint like that, I would just be like, come on, like this wasn't even supposed to be like a permanent thing for me. This is just like a short term. Like why now? Like is that how you felt?
No, I don't, because I mean I knew kind of what happened and how it happened. I'm very cause and effect, so I was like, okay, well.
You felt like you deserved it.
But yeah. No, it was like okay, the control got stuck in his pocket, and that's what it happens to everybody. Like that's how
you were really okay with just being that kind of like surface level about it.
I'd
be like, there's a deeper meaning here, and it's terrible.
See, I mean, I was just like, okay, it is what it is. Let's move on.
Like right away.
No, but like I was always like, okay,
Is that
let's get better. Let's get return. Let's get function back as much as we can. So did that.
Like I said, cool.
And then, yeah, and the company that I worked for, I mean, they were awesome through the whole process, and workers' comp was good. So I mean, they went above and beyond for me. So nothing bad to say about that at all.
You harbor no bitterness in this whole experience towards God
Maybe
or anyone
more,
else.
well, some towards God. Well,
Okay.
a little bit towards God. Okay. So in the let's say we got a little blame pie here, right?
Yeah.
You know, we give a couple of slices to the company that made the machine that didn't think like,
So it's pretty
hey,
easy
if
mistake.
somebody stands up, how can they drive the machine and turn everything? Other manufacturers have had dealt with that problem, but not the one that machine was. That was a little that's where I harbor most of the hate and aggression.
Yeah.
But I try not to dwell on it too much. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
No, it's all right.
Do you feel like you felt like hopeful, like shortly after, like?
Oh yeah, the whole time
Online.
I was just like, okay, this is
That right?
temporary. It's not going to be But it wasn't until like 2 years out, 2.5 years out, and also the ride home. So like 2 months in the ICU, 6 months at McGee Rehab in Philly. So everybody's paralyzed. Everybody's in your same situation. It wasn't until like the ride home. This was in May. And like driving through, coming up the turnpike. I mean, like all those wheelchair vans, you know. Driving up the turnpike, you know, coming up 113, 63, and I'm like, wow, nothing stopped here. Like nothing changed. Like I was so different, and everything impacted in my life, but everything's still the same. Like the house we lived in was still the same, just with a big giant ramp and a hospital bed in the living room.
Yep.
Yeah.
That would be such a weird experience.
Yeah, it was. It really was. And then like coming home, it was like, I was like, oh, there's my garage where all my tools are. Like, oh, there's all my stuff. Like it was like, oh.
And you're like, I'm just gonna go tinker on whatever, and you're like, oh,
I can't move my fingers. Yeah. So that was a little bummer, but I,
a little, yeah.
adapt and move on to other things.
Yeah.
But thankfully, technology has allowed me to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
That 30, 40 years ago would not have been possible.
Yeah.
Like just simply being able to use my computer independently is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a time that you drove. Do you still drive?
No, not since the car accident.
Those cars.
There was a car.
Right.
309, potholes.
Yeah.
Not good. Broken shoulder, broken femur. So, if you can't feel your fingers, maybe you shouldn't drive with your hands, you know? That's my take on it.
Hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah, giant potholes. Horrible winter. But, hey.
Pennsylvania roads.
I still have my license, technically. So, watch out.
Man.
It was fun. It was a cool van. It had hand controls for you push forward for push forward to brake, pull back for gas, and I had all these things. And
Oh, it felt like a throttle.
like steer like this, had a steering wheel like this, and there was a button by your head that you would hold and press for a certain amount of time to get the wipers to turn on or the turn signals. It was crazy high tech.
It's awesome.
Yeah, like I could get in and drive. Like I would drive to the construction sites and everything. So
it's totaled, I guess.
Oh, yeah, it was total. Yeah.
I'm glad you're still with us, man. Holy cow.
Yeah, it was. In hindsight, it could have been. Yeah, should have been there. That would have been a kick in the pants. Survived paralysis, and then he died in a car accident. Yeah, it's like oh boy.
Man, thanks for sharing so honestly, man.
Yeah.
Honest,
Well, I feel like the more open people are, this helps them. Because everybody's going through something.
Right.
You know?
I was just going to say,
mine's just very visible right now. You know?
Yeah. We don't have, tons of listeners or anything, but you never know. Somebody might be listening to this that needs to hear this.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Yeah, just persevere and work and hope for better days.
What's that? We gotta cut to commercial.
Oh,
This next segment is brought to you by Nutty Novelties. Try the new Wild Espresso Peanut Butter. Nutty Novelties peanut butter with cinnamon, butterscotch, cocoa powder, espresso powder, and of course, Backyard Beans Wild Espresso Roast Coffee.
nice.
It really is. It's delicious.
Oh,
It's delicious. Highly
did you
recommend.
drink some?
No. And we're back. So Kyle, last question.
Last question.
So
Man, we still have 20 minutes.
we did. I'm trying to go for 20 minutes total.
30.
We're at 19 minutes.
Ah.
No, this is actually my favorite question.
Oh.
And so yeah, for our audience out there. So what I'm going for with season 2 of the Nuttycast is, interviewing other like small business owners. I'm going for like how I built this feel, which is NPR podcast. It's very good. It's one of my favorite podcasts, and I love it. But they always interview people that are just like crazy successful, and a lot of them have like they've sold their business and are retired at this point, and they're just living on their yacht or whatever, and they're those are great stories.
Yeah,
like I love hearing those stories. But what I'm going for with this is to interview like guys that are in the thick of it currently.
Okay.
They're doing it now, and they're doing it locally, in the Souderton, Lansdale, Philadelphia area.
Better. Even better.
So I love some of the small business journey discussion we've had. But I want to put a little spin on that.
Okay.
And this is no pressure, but wondering like about like a faith component.
Okay.
So Kyle, I know that you are like a man of faith, and I guess my question is just like, how does your faith inform your business, and what would be different about like the Broad Theater or your real estate ventures if it wasn't for your faith?
Okay.
It's a big question.
Yeah, big question. Boy. Well, honestly, I'm struggling a little bit right now in my faith, so I wouldn't say that's like a huge driving factor.
Yeah.
Right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like to always think of my tenants as, well, for Hoff Properties, right? So we'll go to Hoff Properties for a second. Put that hat on.
Yeah.
I like to think of that. I always imagine that I'm in their shoes. So try to be a landlord that's got their best interest at mind, not just my bottom line.
Yep.
Which is rare. But that also helps the businesses succeed and then personally succeed. And I think that goes a long way for them.
Great. Yeah, I think that's an awesome answer.
Now for the theater, I mean, I don't know that there's much. I mean, we are very kind to our employees. We always try to play quality movies that we would see as best as we can with the content that's out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, just being kind to the employees and always having their back and wanting the best for them. And our customers, trying to give them the best experience at a reasonable price.
I think those are great answers. I try and do all the same stuff too. Like I'm not putting Jesus on our jars of peanut butter or anything, that in your face or overt, but like, I try and operate with integrity as best I'm able, and it's a struggle.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. But Kyle, thank you so much for joining me here today. For those of you listening, if you're anywhere close to the Souderton area, I highly recommend the Broad Theater. It is awesome for seeing movies. You can bring a beer in with you into your movie. You can have your kid's birthday party here. Sometimes they show old movies. What else?
Oh yeah, we have on-screen advertising. We do trivia night. We do open mic night. Tuesday, for everyone that's watching their pennies, we have a discount day called Tightwad Tuesday.
And that's your busiest day, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, that is the busiest weekday all the time. And
Tightwad Tuesday.
Tightwad Tuesday. Yep. I am proud to say that I created that name.
That's a great name.
Yeah, it's my claim to fame. That's it. That's all I did. Named it. That's it. Yeah, so we show first run, classic, independents. We have local filmmakers that show their movies here. Businesses rent it out to do presentations, or they also do like employee appreciation days, nights. They rent it all out, open a tab up. Everybody gets to bring their family in, do what they want. There's been a lot of local businesses that have used that.
That is an interesting idea.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really been, as far as our journey with the Broad Theater, it's been a dream come true. To see it back and open, drive by, see people in the lobby, just really makes me happy.
It's a dream for me too. I used to come here as a little kid, and then it was closed forever.
Yeah.
And nobody thought it'd ever come back, and it came back so much cooler than ever before.
Thank you.
Our buddy Michael Smith did the logo out
all
front.
the logos.
Shout out to Michael Smith. He did everything for us ever.
He made the letters, all the logos. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a talented guy.
Thanks for listening, everybody. This has been the Nuttycast on location at the Broad Theater with my coolest friend, Kyle Hoff. And as always, here's what we're supposed to say. So at the same time, I'm going to say, as always, and then we both say, stay nutty. And as always.
Wait, do I say, as always?
I say that part. And then
I just say, stay nutty.
Okay. Yeah, hold tight till stay
nutty.
And as always, stay nutty.